Well, welcome back to LIVENODING. In this episode, I want to show you how you can use curve and kind of like a combo of modifier related to hair curve in Blender to create some kind of like line art, but with a lot of strands. So it looks complicated, and the the modifier is all like a bunch of nodes, hundreds of nodes in fact. But you don't need to worry about all of this. All you need to worry is just to stack the modifier correctly. I'll show you from scratch. So in order to do this, you need Blender 4.1. Now it's actually beta. It's almost official. So under under asset browsers with the latest Blender, you can actually find all these presets that you can apply into curve in relations to making making hair from curve. So you can use this, but I will just use the modifier stack for today. So the idea is if we shift A and create a curve, I'll have a Bezier, nothing special, just a simple curve. Later on, I might use grease pencil in together with curve, but for now, just the curve. I will hit tab. Oh, actually, before I do that, just keep it a single curve like that, just a simple one. I will look into modifier. There's this geometry nodes, the first one. The rest of them you will see under hair. So I like you to experiment with all this modifier under hair yourself. But I will guide you. I will test a couple, especially the under. Okay, the first one I will try is this one, duplicate hair curve. This one will create strands of hair. So based on the single strokes, this one will multiply and turn it into strands. I probably have talked about this in the previous video, but now it's actually a lot faster. So strand experience or strand experiment. That's what we are doing. A single strands become multiple. Let's make it like 40 for now. Not too much. So under edit mode, if you go to edit mode, you still have the curve. You can modify the curve like normally. You can subdivide it, tweak it, whatever. But I like to go into draw mode, because with draw mode, you can of course start drawing things, right? You can write things. Hey. So the curve can be unpredictable sometimes with the strands, but you get the idea. You can draw things and write using strokes. So we can control the radius, the amount. Okay, viewport amounts. How much you want to see in the viewport, because the viewport, the render can handle more than the viewport sometimes. Distribution shapes. Let's play around with this. The tip roundness, even thickness, maybe even thickness. Yeah, that's what we want, like a brush, right? There's actually Blender add-on that's kind of using these ideas with multiple strokes into like make it like brush strokes. So now the next thing I will do actually to resample. I don't know if there is a resample here, but I will just make my own resample curves. New. So it's gonna take the curve and you're gonna enter the geometry nodes, right? And just resample. Just a node. So you can resample your curve. How many points you want this to be? Or the better control is using the maybe length. Pipe the length outside. So with the length you can control each strokes and how much details you want it. And the next one, you probably want to play around with the hair deformation. There are many here to try. I haven't tried all. Maybe it's a good idea to start with the braided. clump, braid and clump. Let's try this actually, braid hair. So you can see the effects right away because it's supposed to be to make hair. This one actually create like some kind of entangling of our curve, right? You can play around with subdivisions, keep it low for now, the radius, shape. So a lot of parameter from each of these. The cool thing is the modifier stack handles everything, so we don't actually need to look at the complexity of the nodes itself. We just need to play around with the parameter and the modifier stack. So this one is cool. It's already kind of doing a lot. A simpler one, maybe under hair deformations, maybe just use the noise. Where's the noise? If you find it hard, just use search and then noise, hair curve noise. So that one will give you ability to make the hair affected by the noise. Scale along curve. Okay. Randomize the seed, preserving the length, offset per curve. I don't know. There's a lot. Too many options. Okay, this one can make it like totally insane like that. But still, you can see it's kind of keeping the noise. You know, like a real hair strand. It's keeping the root actually, which is kind of interesting. Maybe there's a way to unhook the end part. So, but at the moment it's really behaving like a hair. And then you also have something like a trim hair curves. You can trim the hair based on the whatever length you have, or yeah, you can replace the length, but or you can keep the original. So you can make the hair kind of grow like that. This is for animations. Randomize the offset. So it's kind of cool for animations. So you can animate from 0 to 1. This is a really cool effect. In order to render this, you also need to do something, add another modifier, geometry nodes. This one, just curve to mesh. Pretty basic. Curve to mesh. And just plug in the circle with the fill cap, make the radius and the resolutions smaller. Right. Set radius. So you can set radius here. Randomize random value for the radius. Spline ID index. I try to think. Yeah, I forgot the. You can make the spline index. Spline info. Curve info. Curve index. Yeah, I think it's curve index. You can see now it's like a cables now. Some of them have smaller radius, some of them higher, instead of like this. But it's up to you whether you want it. Like a wiring, right? So we probably don't need the animations for now, but you can already have a lot of control here. Okay, so what else can we do now? The material, with the material, maybe add another modifier. Set material, give it a material. Now it's assigning the material to the curve. And wow, it's Blender. Okay, now we can go to the shader. Under the shader material, we can use object info, I think. Random hue, so random goes into the color, or I can use the wonder if we can use cycles. I was expecting like a random color, maybe geometry random. Geometry random per island seems to work. Yeah, I think this is okay. Random one of these anyway, it will work since they are like separate. Oh, okay, the bottom have different color. And with the hair strand, sometimes you get extras. I think you have to try to delete that part. Make it metallic. Anyhow, we have some kind of colorful pipes or wires. And now, so continue with this, just add stack of hair, deformations, freeze hair curve. Straight, there's a straighten and smooth as well. What happens if I use free? Doesn't seem to have effect. Let's try clump. There's a clump and there's a curl. Oh, I have a feeling. Curve to mesh need to be at the end. So turn this off. So this is clump. So curve to mesh needs to be added at the very end. Otherwise, everything else will not work. So now, okay, now it should be working. So clumping seems to be clumping the very end of the hair if it's braided. Yeah, that's with the clump. So you can combo all of this together. So guided, curl. So curl need to be also put under curve to mesh. Oh, before curve to mesh. Curve to mesh should be last. Yeah, okay, this is cool. Curl, you can see it's curling. Quite like this effect. Subdivide, we don't need curve. Start, curve end. Random offset, okay. That's pretty cool. It's twisting, it's really twisting the hair. So let's say I like this effect, you know. Maybe get rid of trim. Yeah, so I want to keep the whole curve. Now we have this ability to draw. Go back to edit mode, change this to surface, and we can start drawing things. Because whenever we make strokes, Blender will be smart enough to over draw on top of it. So we can really draw things. and it's still respecting the, so the curve will be drawn on top of the surface. I believe it does that, but because we have other things like hair noise, it doesn't seem appearance. But it's actually, it's not overlapping, it's drawing on top of it. It's accumulating every time you draw. It's going to be on top of the previous. So this is like a Zentangle time. You draw, you don't need to worry about erasing, but you're drawing strokes. So every strokes, you can think of, okay, every stroke is like a, it's gonna be like an art. Okay, every stroke is gonna be an art. Don't worry about erasing. This is, I think, the main point of Zentangle. So just draw stroke by stroke. So of course the curve or the hair curve, none of this is probably made to make Zentangle. However, you can make it like your own tool for drawing. I mentioned that grease pencil can be used together with this guy over here because it's currently a curve, right? With if you use grease pencil blank, right, and then you go to draw, increase radius. So I like using grease pencil first because you have a lot more freedom and you can connect the dots. If you have two strokes like this floating in space, you can go to edit mode, of course, go to tab, select grease, and you can move it. You can select this and then Command L. You can move things around. That's cool, but they're kind of floating. The way to connect and blend them together is just using stroke and endpoints. I mentioned this in other video, so you can connect the dot like this. You have the 3D Zentangle. This is much cooler. Right, they're gonna be connected. So it understands the first point and the last point. The last point will connect to each other like that. So that's, I think, a much better workflow on top of, so, but it's grease pencil, and grease pencil you need to right click, convert it to Bezier curve. Once this is a curve, you can select this guy and select this guy and connect it. If this is too much resolutions, you can always clean up first. And then select this, and then Command L, link, and copy the modifier. Now we have our art transferred, our combination of complex hair modifier node 3, connected to our artwork. That's how you do it. No secret, it's pretty simple and basics. So what else can we do here? If you want, you can turn this into mesh, right? Remember, you can always remesh. Remesh is usually pretty fast. You have this like a spider web. Convert again to mesh. So we apply this, and then we go to sculpt, Blender sculpt, and then cloth filter inflate. Boom. So I like I like doing this inflate stuff. Expand, maybe expand. Inflate should inflate the inside of this guy. I don't know why it's just moving around like that. Use collisions. They should collide with each other. I don't know, shade smooth, displace. If you want to make it fatter, I guess you can use displace. And then you can always use remesh again. Right click, convert to mesh, go back to sculpt mode, inflate. There you go. You get this thing happening. What do we do next? Go back to this guy, delete everything, start drawing on this guy over here. Maybe curl is a bit too strong. I like it to be slightly noisy. Cumulative. Okay, so just do it like this. Select our curve, draw. I call this potato country bumpkin, some kind of giant mash of things where it's kind of growing into some kind of creatures. So the creature have this kind of the way I see it is like a kind of like a bubble, like it's growing, and it has this kind of hair coming out of it, and we are drawing each of the hair like a potato. If you put the potato too long, you forgot it's on the floor, and it's gonna grow. It start to grow hair like this. So it's a wild potato. Wild potato. This one is spider web, but the wild potato is like this. Probably better if I make it smaller. If you find this, you don't need this. Select a vertices, Command L, X, delete. Easy. So now we have this result. Set material, put it underneath. So we have colorful wires. I need to fix the light. Probably add material to this guy as well. So there we go. Country bumpkin potato, whatever. Add a subsurface scattering, maybe not. So that's the whole process. So I recommend you to look at the modifier. There's documentation as well, but documentation is long read. You need to spend some time to read it. But by stacking multiple of hair deformations or generations, take a look at all of these. It's like they are very complex in terms of node tree, but you can just use it like a stack, and you don't need to worry whatever happening underneath. You don't need to worry anymore, because this will do the job by itself. Okay, so yeah, hopefully you find it useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.